Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Bill Rigby, on the Agents of the Unexplained podcast. Find us.
We're here live tonight, folks. Hey, we got a very special guest. She is going to be talking to me through the phone. And let me know if you can hear us all right. It's going to be one of those nights where we're going to learn a lot. I'm excited about it. Aurora Swanhilde. She's going to be talking about the Dogman and a few other things. I'm not all excited about it, but before I bring her in, I'm going to let you know about a couple other things that's going on. The Penn Ohio Paranormal Conference that's going to be in Hermitage, Pennsylvania. Here, let me do this. Da 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 da. Let me. This poster I just put up. This will be March 25th. It's going to be an awesome event with this whole lineup of speakers. We do have pre-sale tickets, but to top it all off, we're going to do a bundle. And let me send it in the comments. There is the page to go by, the bundle, which is the pre-sale ticket, event t-shirt, and you're going to get a ticket to a special raffle for everyone that buys a pre-sale ticket. The basket's going to be worth over $100 of merchandise. I'm not totally sure exactly what's all in it yet. Once we get it all together, we'll let you know. But all right, let me get off of that and let's go to bring Aurora in. Hi, Aurora. You here with us?
Yes, I'm here. Hi.
How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. The cats are behaving, so all is well.
My grandkids ain't, neither are the dogs, so we're in for a treat. But anyhow, yeah, you've had all kinds of experience, but we're going to mainly talk about Dogman tonight.
Yes.
And like I talked to you earlier, I'm basically going to let you run the show here. Because I don't know crap about Dogman other than a few things I've heard, and you've got the experience. So I don't know what other people know, but I do know that I don't know crap. So if they got questions, I'll let you know. But I already told you I'll have some too as you go along.
Okay. Well, first, I'd like, for your listeners to understand that I'm a psychic medium. I'm an empath and sensitive, and I've had many experiences throughout my life. And I've been researching as well as investigating for probably 15, 20 years, especially the investigating. I've been researching things since I was probably around 13 years old. So it's been a long time.
Oh, that's more than me, truthfully. With me, I've been in the woods all my life, a hunter, a kid growing up around the woods. But to start investigating, it's been about 3 years and maybe going on 4. So, yeah, you got a lot more experience at this stuff than me.
I was just very lucky to have parents that were very open, very, understanding, and then also having friends that have supported me, that have been there. And I've always been very, very grateful and still continue to be grateful every day that I have, the friends that I have in my life, because they are the reason why I am here today and able to talk, and discuss things in my experiences.
Yeah, I can understand that. Well, when I was like 12 years old, we springtime, we saw a UFO. We come running in the house and told our mother, and she said, "You didn't see nothing. Keep your mouth shut." You know,
Yeah.
And of course, the neighbor took a picture of it and gave it to the Newcastle News in Newcastle, PA, and got a hold of Youngstown News Channel and told them, and everyone started calling the man a crazy idiot. And he took a picture of what I saw, which was a good mile away from us, but I can still see what it looked like. And it was a flat disc, silver type disc. And they try to say he threw a garbage can lid up in the air. We lived about half a mile from this man, so I would not have seen the garbage can lid in the air.
Right.
So, yeah, my mom was like, "Nope, you ain't doing that."
Things are more open today than what they had been, especially with a lot of the TV shows and movies and such that are now available. And the Dogman, even though it's thought to be like a recent cryptid, it actually dates back to the 16 and 1700s, during when the Ottawa Indian tribe occupied the territory around the Great Lakes. So the Dogman actually does date back. It's nothing recent as we know it as recent. It has been, it was acknowledged even way back then.
Right. I know we had Dogman and Dog Boy sightings here. I believe Brian Seach did do a report on the Dog Boy.
Yes.
And so that's going. I did hear some on that. He will be in our conference in March and talking about Dogman, him and Terry. So that I'm going to find out more.
Yes, you definitely will. You definitely will, especially with the two of
them. With all three Ians.
So the main territory of the Dogman that we kind of know about is like the Canadian province of Ontario, which is now the states of Michigan and Wisconsin. The Ottawa Indians, along with the French fur traders, described the Dogman as a large wolf that walked like a man.
Right. And as some people call it, the werewolf.
Yes. He's described as very dog-like or werewolf, wolf-like type of creature. Especially since he's known to be bipedal. He stands, walks, and runs on two legs.
My question right now, real quick. Is it a werewolf or is it a Dogman?
There's a big difference. I feel that a Dogman is separate from a werewolf or lycanthropy. I've had experiences with lycanthropy. So to me, I feel that they're two different. They might be related per se, but I feel that they're also different creatures.
Okay. Good. That kind of clears a little bit up there for me.
It's just we would, like most people would say, oh, that's a werewolf. But there's differences. There's the minute differences, but there are differences.
Oh, sweet.
Like the fur on the Dogman is usually shaggy. It's a variety of shades. Just like Bigfoot has a variety of shades of gray, black, like a reddish brown. It has long pointed ears, a long snout. That's what gives it the dog or the wolf-like appearance. And oftentimes, like people that have encountered the Dogman, it's known to be very menacing, so it can be very frightening.
Now, are they kind of related to the Bigfoot?
As in cryptids, depending on what you believe or what faction of belief you go into. Yes and no. Now the Bigfoot and Dogmen, they basically don't like each other. The Dogmen are territorial, but so are the Bigfoot. And right. Bigfoot, they have a tendency to, for lack of a better word, they do fight each other. the Bigfoot will push the dogmen out of their territory. They don't like them around.
Yeah, I can understand that. Because that's, how can I put it? Let's see, how can I put it? The territorial thing with them.
Right.
I heard a dogman don't even like humans in its territory.
Right.
And then I heard someone say about, me and the dogman stayed each other down and watched each other, and then it walked off. And I'm like, really? That's when I just heard that the other day. That's the first time I ever heard that.
They're known to be very territorial. The dogmen are. They will stalk and hunt down human prey. They will stalk you. And that's another thing that that's also another terrifying aspect of them.
Right.
Like the Bigfoot might look at you and may walk away, whereas the dogmen, they'll come after you.
Okay. And now I've heard that. And when this person said, they kept staring down each other, and he just went on across the road and left. I'm like, that's the first time I ever heard that. So I had a hard time grasping that from everything I heard, like from land between the lakes. How it did the massacre down there, and other encounters. Yeah, so I did have a hard time understanding how that was going on.
It may be too. It depends on if a person, depends on the frequency of the person. Maybe the dogman being able to read that frequency, they know, hey, I better not mess with this person, or it's just not worth it. It's not worth my time. So I think it just depends on maybe their personal preference as well, or like I said, on frequency.
Oh, okay. That's the thing too. Like you said, the frequency. So yeah, everything got its own frequency. Some people may not agree with us on that, and I don't care. My belief on this is everything and everyone got a frequency. I know who else will agree with me on this. I don't have to say their names because they'll end up saying I'm right. And you know who I'm talking about too, Aurora.
Yes.
But the thing is, you're right. Maybe the frequency was there. I don't know. I still have a hard time comprehending that it was not aggressive with them after everything I heard about them. But it's possible. But like I said, I have a hard time comprehending.
It is, like I said, it is possible. I think it just depends, once again, like I said, on the circumstances, the frequency. It could just be the individual dogman themselves. Personality-wise, everything has a personality. Whether you're human, alien, or some type of cryptid per se.
I'm gonna bring something up to you. A lady friend of ours sent me a picture last night. I was sleeping. Her and her daughter, they clean a high school in the upper part of Mercer County.
Okay.
Up here. And she was coming home. She turns off of Route 19 on the Route 358. And she had to swerve right away. There was a skinned out deer, the head, field dressed, the head was gone, the skin was gone, just the meat and everything was there.
Okay.
She swerved and went around it, and she hurried up and voice texted me about it. It says she didn't want to stop. She was scared. And her daughter says, "Go back. We'll get a picture for Bill." And they did.
Okay.
And they got a picture of it. It looked like something had it in its mouth and was carrying it in their mouth. They wasn't dragging it.
Uh-huh.
It's weird because maybe her turning the corner, coming around, it startled whatever it was and dropped it. I heard that in that area up there was possible Dogman sightings. So I started thinking, well, maybe, Dogman had it. But to me, I think he would have ate it where he got it at. Whoever's garage or shed, wherever it was hanging.
Uh-huh.
A coyote wouldn't have been able to carry it like that without dragging it. There was no drag marks on the meat.
Okay. It could be possible. It could be Dogman. It could have been Bigfoot, depending. Within the area, it's kind of hard to say. They could have gotten startled and just dropped it.
Exactly. And to me, I don't think it had bite marks on carrying it. I think Bigfoot would have carried it over its shoulder.
Yes.
So that's why I was kind of not totally rolling out, but rolling out Bigfoot.
Okay.
But that's why I was thinking, Dogman.
It's like I said, it's very possible, and if it got startled enough, it would have just taken off.
Yeah. So that was interesting to wake up to that message this morning.
Okay.
Yeah, I did want to tell you about that. And
Okay.
I should have told you earlier instead of just throwing at you, but I totally forgot to just now.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. And what we do know, like in recent years, on the Dogman, the Michigan Dogman, the Beast of Bray Road, which is in Elkhorn, Wisconsin,
Right.
was from Linda Godfrey. God rest her soul. It was from her. Yeah, it was from her. With what she studied, her investigations, the time she took, the books that she's written. So what we do know in modern times, in certain respects, is because of her and because of her diligence in, investigating and trying to figure things out. So if it wasn't for her, we may or may not be even talking about Dogman, right now.
Exactly. And that's something else I'm crossing off my bucket list because I wanted to go up and meet her. And I knew she was ill and never got up there. So I was upset when I first saw the post about it. God rest her soul.
Yes, may she be blessed in the light of the Summerland. I was so devastated when I saw that, that she had passed. But it's really to give her the kudos that she deserves, because if it wasn't for her, we more likely wouldn't be speaking on the Dogman, like I said, right now. Because she did bring it to the forefront through her writing, through her investigations, and what have you.
Yes, she did. Very much so. I agree, 110%. And there's a gentleman out there did a whole thing on the Beast of Bray Road, and he's acting like that's his own thing. But no, it was her.
It was her, yes.
Her.
It was all her.
Yes. And I agree 110%, But anyhow, it's all on you now.
Okay, well, I have had personal experiences. I've had a few encounters with Dogman. One specific, there's a couple that I'll talk over tonight. It was recently I had moved back from an area. I was living in Allegheny County. I moved back to Beaver County. So this was in October 18th, 2015. And it was around 8:15 or so in the evening. It was dark out. I was bringing my son and I. My son was still young, so he was still in the back seat, more or less in a car seat. and we were driving on Green Garden Road.
I know where that's at.
Okay. And as I was approaching the one section of the road, I'm driving, and it's like I said, it's dark. I have my headlights on, but as I approached this section of the road, on the left-hand side, I could see what appeared to be a Dogman. Like it was like I was stunned. The creature was he was crouched down with one leg underneath him, while the other leg was like kind of stretched out in front, and then one arm was like outstretched, and the other arm was like close to his body. So as if like he was crouched. Like I don't know if he was, you're trying to cross the street, or if he was just like surveying the area.
Huh.
His fur was shaggy. It was dark black brown. His torso and arms, legs were very lanky and long. I would estimate that if he had been standing at a height, he would have been between 6'5" and 7 foot.
Wow.
His face was wolf-like with an extended muzzle. The mouth was slightly open, and I could definitely see sharp pointed teeth. Like they were jagged, pointed, like I could see the pointed teeth.
Oh.
Yeah. The ears were that like of a wolf's, and his hands, the hands were very claw-like. They were hands, but they were claw-like.
Right.
And like I said, he was poised as if he was like either going to cross the road, or I'm not sure what he was doing in that respect, but it was like he was just poised in that position. And as I came up on him, he looked directly at me, and our eyes met, and he was definitely human-like. The eyes were intelligent. There was an intelligence behind the eyes.
That's scary.
It was. I mean, at that moment, I was more afraid because I had my son with me, and my son was young, okay? And I'm driving on this road, and it can be like a very dark, long stretch of road, as you know, Green Garden Road, especially at night.
Yes.
And as our eyes connected, his eyes went from dark black to glowing yellow.
Wow.
And,
okay.
Yes. And as I, like, within a few moments, like, as I sped up, because I was like, maybe if my son hadn't been with me, I might have like stopped as my curiosity. But because I had my son, and like I said, I was more concerned about, oh no, I have my child with me.
Right.
I was being a protective mother. But as I sped up, he vanished. But the air around him, like where it had been, it just seemed to shimmer, like almost like that effect, like the Predator effect. It just shimmered.
Right. Wow.
And then, that was in October of 2015. And then a few months later, it was December. It was a December night in 2015. And I had actually dropped my son off. I was coming home from dropping my son off with his grandma. She lived in Swissville at the time, and she used to take him every once in a while on the weekends to spend time with him. So I was coming home, and once again, driving on Green Garden Road. And it was around 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. And as I was coming up to an area, there's like trees. There were trees on my left-hand side, and I saw the same Dogman standing by the road. He was just standing there. And when our eyes connected, I saw the recognition. He knew. He recognized me. He remembered me.
Oh boy.
So it was like,
I don't know if that's a good thing.
He was startled. It was almost like you could see in his eyes like the frustration. He was startled because it was like she saw me again. That moment of realization. I remember her.
Oh, that woman.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So I feel like he was startled both times. I mean, yes, his eyes had turned from black to yellow, when I first saw him the first time, and he did it again the second time, but I think I startled him just as much as I was startled.
Right.
Because he wasn't, I don't think, expecting anyone to actually see him.
Huh.
Especially with it being, a late night. Most people were just driving or not paying attention, or it's dark, you know what I mean? And that was a dark December night.
Right. All right. When the eyes went from dark to yellow, do you think that was going from he's cool, calm to anger, or vice versa?
Oh, no. It was like predatorial.
Okay.
It went from cool, calm to predatorial instantaneously. Like like the changing of the eyes, because it was instantaneous. They went from black to yellow.
Okay, that makes sense. Very much so.
And then like a couple other ones. There have been a couple times, actually, most recent in the past year. There was one let me think, late spring, early summer this year. I have a tendency, I have friends that live in Brighton Township, and I was driving on Neville Road. And Neville Road is between Brighton Township and Industry, so that you can come out at either end. Have you been back there?
Yes.
Okay, so you know the road.
Yes.
Okay. I've had semi encounters with the Dogman in that area. I was coming home, and I had reached a point. I was like, oh, I can feel him near. I knew that I could feel the frequency, I could feel the vibration, and I could feel like, for lack of a better term, it was like telepathically, you need to go. You need to get off of my area, like very territorial. I could hear the growling. And I was beating the sunset. Like I was trying to get out from, and you can't go too fast on that road because of how windy it is. And at that point I was really pushing as best I could to be safe driving, to get off of that area, to get off of that road, because I knew that it was there. Like I knew that as I was coming up by the one tree, it was like I could feel it. I didn't see it, but I could feel that it was by that tree. And I would say that I was more frightened of, more startled, or I wasn't too happy with. Let's just put it that way. And that's happened twice to me on that road.
Wow.
Like it's just like that moment of right before dusk, and it's like, I need to be off this road, because you can feel that he's in the area. He's in the area. You can feel the frequency. You can feel his, for lack of a better word, like his anger.
Right.
Like get off of my territory. I know you're here. As if he recognizes my energy.
What you're feeling is what I call gut instinct.
Right.
And yeah. Patty Frey has a question. What is Dogman? A human that turns into a dog, or it stays a Dogman constantly? Patty, you came in late.
From what I know, cryptozoological wise, as far as I know, it's a dog-like creature that stays that way. It's not like a lycanthropy. It's not like a lichen that changes from like human to wolf-like.
Yeah, Patty, it's not a werewolf. I already asked that question. I really did, Patty. That's why I said you was late, huh? Patty Frey's a great lady. She really is. And I pick on her bad, though. But with all honesty, that's a good question, Patty. Yeah. But when you was getting those feelings, all right, being more or less like an empath with it,
right?
And you can feel the anger. Did you feel any compassion with any of it, or was it just total anger and predator type?
Total anger and predatorial. There was no compassion. It was like they knew that I was there. I more or less, I have my own frequency, I guess, for lack of a better word, once again, to say. And it was like, get out of my area, and get out of it now.
Okay. Yeah,
and it, like I said, it's happened twice just on that road.
Wow. That's just wild. That is wild to me.
And you can't feel a difference on that road specifically. Like if you take time and you're like right when it's, even when there isn't a dog man around, but if you take time, either whether you're going whichever direction you're going, okay, you can feel the change. Like as daylight goes into dusk to nighttime, you really can't feel the change because you can feel the fairy folk. Everything changes.
Right.
It's a really strange road. I've seen spirits in that area. You know, it's just, I guess, a unique road.
Yes. Yeah, like you said, at that time of day, you can feel everything changing anyhow.
Right.
And I agree with that. Ghost Chick Angel has a good question. Where do they live? Do they have? She has two questions in one. And do they have more animal than human traits?
I feel that it's probably more or less a mixture. Like I said, when I had seen the first time on Green Garden Road, there was a definite human-like intelligence to its eyes. Like it knew. Like it's very, you know, and telepathically you get that vibe, the communication. But it's also more, also I want to say, animalistic in nature. As far as I know, as to like where they might live, wooded areas, areas that are, you know, more off the beaten path, around trees, things of that nature.
Megan Baker, Angel, I'll get back to your other question here in 1 second. Megan Baker. Wow. I have a hard time talking tonight. Sorry, Meg. You know we love you. How did you begin to feel his frequency? Did you have a past connection to him? If this was said, I'm sorry, I might have missed that detail.
Honestly, probably because I've had several near-death experiences. I've died. I've clinically been pronounced dead at age 2, and I do remember that very clearly. Like I had said, I died and crossed over and came back a week before my 50th birthday. So my frequency, my energy has all changed. I did have encounters a few years ago with the Bigfoot, and that kind of also opened me up a little bit more on the frequency to understand. So like I know, like if I'm in an area, I can feel the frequency of when a Bigfoot is near or when a Dogman is near. It's something I can hone in on.
Right. The other question that Angel had was, all right, I kind of lost it. It went away. Oh, wow. Where is it, Fae or interdimensional or what?
With the Dogman?
Yes.
That's something I'm uncertain. I mean, it's very, I want to say it's interdimensional. Now, I know people are going to probably argue and say, no, it's flesh and blood. Well, yes, it is flesh and blood, but it's also, I feel, interdimensional, especially with the way that it can cloak itself. And I've seen Bigfoot do the same thing, being able to cloak itself.
Okay.
It doesn't feel Fae-like to me. And I've had encounters with the fairy folk and the Fae, you know,
right.
with the good folk. So it doesn't feel Fae-like. It's not from the unseelie court. In other words, it's not from the darker side of the Fae.
Okay. Angel wants to know, is her mojo like my mojo? Oh, I do not want Dogman mojo. Jeez. With all honesty, Angel is an empath and that too.
Okay.
She good lady. From day one meeting her, we became good friends, and she have given me a lot of information in the ghost hunting and other aspects, and she has a Bigfoot problem near her property.
Okay.
Also, that she didn't realize she had till recently. Poor lady. And I'm going down the third. I'm up some more for her.
has she put out an offering for the Bigfoot?
That I can honestly say no, she hasn't, because those things scare her.
Okay. Sometimes if you put out a special offering of food and sorts, or like little shiny things, gifts, or what have you, as a token, they'll leave you alone.
I won't suggest food, but tokens, yes. Angel writes, I like undead. That's my woman there. Yeah, she. I'll behave. I'll behave. I gotta behave. But yeah, I don't believe in putting out food per se. But some kind of token, like a shiny stone, or I go to Seville's up here in Hermitage and get my stones.
Right.
She has a metaphysical shop, and I count on her for a lot of advice too. But you know, that's what I do. You know, I'm not telling people not to put food. Oh, Angel goes, no to hell with that. I can't want him sticking around like a stray cat. Don't worry, Angel. I'll come down and take care.
Now, Bigfoot is considered closer to the Fae. The Native American have spoken about, the big hairy man and the little people, that they were, they came together, or they worked together, and what have you. So Bigfoot, in that respect, I wouldn't say so much the Dogman, but yes, the Bigfoot has some form of connection with the fairy folk.
All right. This person posted, do not mess with Aurora Swanhilde. I have seen what happened when a spirit tried to mess with her. Ask why. I call her the gunslinger.
Oh.
Do you know who's saying that?
Oh, yes, I do. Yes, thank you so very much for that. Yes.
Thanks, Brian. You kind of got you speechless for a second.
Yes, we had an incident a few years ago. It was at a specific hotel area. It was an older hotel, and I always watch. My son has been going with me to investigations, whether it's cryptid or ghost hunts and what have you. But I always make sure that the area, for me, like I always ask, is it going to be okay? Is it safe? Is it, negative, positive? What should I be aware of? Right. And it was like it's going to be easy peasy. It's nice. It's no worries. So I brought him with me, and he's had a lot of experiences himself. And as an investigator, I would trust him wholeheartedly. Okay, so he went with us, so he was part of the group that we were with, and there was a lot of different things that happened at this hotel. More or less, there was a lot of spirits. The one spirit was very dark, and he drowned his young wife, and I ended up talking to her because she was trapped, and basically crossing her over to her family that had been waiting for her. He basically took her because her family had owed him money.
Oh.
Yes. So we're talking like there were like, it at one time had been like a brothel. There was, rum running and all kind of stuff that occurred at this place. Okay. So there was a lot of stuff that happened at this hotel, years and back. Okay.
Right.
And this particular entity was not happy. And we had an individual. I had just gotten back. I was walking back, and there was a group of us. They were like in this little area room. It was like kind of an open room, but it was like kind of off to the side. And the one gentleman, I'm walking back after crossing over this young woman, who had been trapped with this man. Like I said, he murdered her. I got to see and experience her death and how she died. When that door opened and I was able to cross her over and break his hold, her mother holding her and looking up at me and thanking me meant the world to me.
Oh, wow. That would be something there.
You know, and she said, thank you for bringing my baby home to me. You know, and seeing other family members there waiting as well. So as I left the area, I was coming out towards, you know, where everybody else kind of was at. And now keep in mind, when my son was there, and I always put protection. I always make sure he has protection on him and what have you. And there were several adults in the room, and all of a sudden, the one gentleman, and he's a big, hefty gentleman. You know, he's you know, he doesn't scare easily. You know, he does his own. You know, he's got his own investigations and things that he does. He's a really nice guy. All of a sudden, he looks at me, and his eyes are different. And he confronts me. He's sitting down. He's like, "You can't have her. You can't have," like, and his eyes are shifting around, looking at everybody. And it was a confrontation. At that point, I realized, oh, well, what am I going to do? And I was like, well, I'm just going to go with it. So I had a lantern in my hand, and I put it down. I was like, okay, let's do this now. And literally, the spirit of this gentleman stepped inside him. And
now,
I
this
said,
large gentleman, it's the same one you and me talked about earlier that I was out with?
no,
Okay.
no, this is someone else. And basically, I confronted him, and I said, you can't have her. She's on the other side. You cannot have her. And I told her, you stay where you're at. You're not being pulled back to this. And we went back and forth a little bit with it. And at one point, he realized he lost the battle. The spirit left the guy's body. He got up, and he's like, I'm so sorry. I mean, he literally was running down the stairs to get outside to vomit. So we get everybody back after a few moments and what have you, get everybody back in the room, and you could feel the guy was menacing. The spirit was just out, you know, he was very, very angry. Let's just put it that, for lack of, you know, what else to say. He was pretty pissed. And I was like, well, what do you want me to do? Because the gentleman that owned the hotel was like, what do you want me to do? And he's like, get rid of him. If you want, you. And I was like, so I just, you know, got myself together, and I, as he calls me the gunslinger, because I used my energy. He said that literally the gentleman, as the one that called me the gunslinger, he actually could see through the heat sensor that my hands changed, the color changed on them. And the other gentleman was also, who owned the hotel, he had his own experiences as a child and what have you, because it had been in the family. He actually confirmed, like, he actually watched. He said, I've never seen anybody have the aura, the energy that you just did. But I essentially just opened up my energy, and I called on the archangels, and I basically cast him out. Like, I was like,
Awesome.
take him now. So, but it was definitely a battle. It was definitely a battle, and that's why he calls me the gunslinger. Because it wasn't easy.
No. And I do believe in possession, total possession there. And thank God I've never seen it, but I do believe in it. You know, and like Shane Spencer just said, he definitely believes in demonic possessions too. Jeffrey Dahmer comes to mind for him. And
go ahead.
I don't know if that was a demon possessed on Dahmer, or he was just
screwed up.
Yeah. We'll never know because he's dead now.
Right.
But
what was ironic is when he was actually, you know, when he had stepped into the gentleman that was sitting down, and he was shifting and he was looking at everybody, the only person he didn't look at was my son. It was like my son wasn't there.
Well, that was a good thing.
Yeah. So the protection that I had put on my son actually, like, worked. You know, it was like he didn't acknowledge him, he didn't see him, but he looked at all the adults that were in the room.
Right. So that's a good thing.
So essentially, he was a horrible man in life, this spirit, and he was a big bully. He committed many atrocities, and he just didn't expect to come up against somebody that wasn't going to take his crap. So that was me.
And I like that. I do. I really like that. That's awesome. No, let's see. We have a couple of them don't believe in the cloaking, which I can understand. To each their own. And there goes my dog again acting up. She must want someone to take her out, and it ain't going to be me this time. But one of the ones downstairs will take her. But she gets mouthy when it comes to that. But the other thing too, like, let's get back to the Dogman.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with the Feast of Bray Road, Land Between the Lakes, the supposed other sightings throughout, Jason Coley says there was one up near Bradford, PA.
Yes.
A couple years back. More and more is coming out on them.
Yes.
And like I said, I don't know crap. I'm learning more tonight. As mean and evil as they can be, and how come we haven't heard more about them?
I think because they thanks to Linda Goffrey once again, bringing things to light in her investigations and stuff. I think people that do or have had encounters, prior to that, and even now, even after Linda Godfrey, and what she brought to light about them, people are afraid. It's once again, they're fearful of the experience. They're fearful to tell anyone. Just like I saw a Bigfoot. You're afraid of that criticism. You're afraid people are going to say, well, you're a nut job.
Right.
So people kind of keep things quiet. And sometimes it's out of fear. Like I have a friend of mine that on the other area that, so the Smith Ferry Road, I don't know if you know where that's at, and, in this area.
I've heard, but I'm not sure where it's at.
Okay. It's closer towards the Ohio border area. Okay.
Okay.
She's had her own encounters, with the Dogman, as well as her granddaughter at the time when she was living, had, where their house is located, in a very far off. It's like another road that's like off the beaten path, kind of. It can be like kind of countrified, more or less.
Right.
So, and their house is offset with the wooded area and what have you. So, she had encounters also, encountering the Dogman, because she actually had come to me and she was like, what are we experiencing? This is what's, happening. And I told her, it's the Dogman. It's just roaming the area.
Oh, wow. That is crazy. Just roaming the area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think just people in general are just now starting to come out to light of, oh yeah, I had an experience, but still people are still kind of afraid though too, to say what they've experienced. They want people to be able to believe them, and when it's a genuine experience, because you can see it in their posture, you can see it in their facial expressions, you can see it in their in their eyes, and you can hear it in their voice.
Yes. I can give a good example of that. When I saw my Bigfoot sighting, Mary Fagan was at the same camp out I was at, and but she wasn't on that little hike with us. But
okay,
we come back up out of there. I went right up to where her truck was at, because she's camping it with her truck, and we told her what was going on. She actually looked at me and says, I know you saw one. And a few days later, she told me the expression I had on my face and the way I was acting. She knew what I was not lying to her. And I know I wasn't, but I didn't realize I was looking like that. And like I said, I'm not afraid of a damn thing. I don't care what it is. But I got afraid that night, really afraid. And I still have problems with that every now and then. So yeah, you can read in people's faces and the whole 9 yards of what's going on. If they're telling the truth, they're lying.
Right. And I will also read like the energy, but that's just because I can empath.
Right.
But you can really tell when somebody has had a true encounter. And I know that, like, I can't remember who had asked it at the beginning about the difference between, and I know I stated it in the beginning about, a werewolf lichen opposed to like the Dogman.
Right.
And there is a big difference because, like I said, I've had encounters with like lichens as well. I've had encounters with a Wendigo. So, and they're all under the same umbrella for the most part.
Right.
You have the Dogman, the werewolf, the lichens, the Wendigo, and also the skinwalkers, which I prefer not to talk about the skinwalkers, just because of my Native American ancestry, as we talked about earlier, and the superstition that follows with that.
Oh, exactly. Brian goes, either I got a haunted house or my dog's trying to get in the room. He sees my door moving. It's a little of both, Brian. Don't worry. I'm good with it. No, it's Venus trying to get in. She won't leave me alone if I leave her in. And Dan Benoit, hello, from ECRO, Eastern Coast Bigfoot Research Organization. He says he's excited for March 25th. He's actually coming up, not as a speaker, not as a MC, not as a vendor, but coming up to celebrate his birthday here at our conference.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome to hang out, relax, and BS and socialize where he can actually relax. And I'm excited about that. Dan's a good man. He really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Patty wrote, but the Bigfoot didn't hurt you, Bill. He could have taken you or killed you, and he didn't. I realize that, Patty. And that's where me and Aurora was talking earlier, and I don't know, Dogman will scare me too. Not just the Bigfoot, but I know the Dogman well because the more I hear about how vicious and predatorial and the whole 9 yards they are, I'll be scared. I know I will because if the Bigfoot did it, and I didn't know if it was going to hurt me or not.
Right.
But just seeing it, even though I believe, but seeing it, it scared me. And because I could see the muscle tones, the size of it, even though it was kneeling down. 15 feet away from me, I'm going to be able to see it. So, it's crazy. That I don't want to be around a dog man. I really don't. Now, a question was asked of me. The first podcast I ever did was Bigfoot Odyssey with Larry Batson and Daniela. Larry did a drawing of what I saw.
Okay.
And Daniela asked me, and I'm going to ask you the same question, but on a different aspect.
Okay.
The next time you see one, what do you think you're going to do? Now, I gave her my honest answer. What is your honest answer?
Seeing a Bigfoot, you mean?
Bigfoot or Dogman?
With a Bigfoot, depending, like we discussed earlier, I've had encounters, I've had experiences. I know to be cautious, but I'm also not afraid. So I more or less just kind of stand my ground, and if you're not welcome in the vicinity, then you just leave the vicinity. As with a Dogman, I prefer to just get out from where I'm at. I prefer, not to have an encounter again with a Dogman, because they are so animalistic and so territorial, so aggressive. They just have a very negative energy about them.
All right, I'm going to tell you my honest answer. If I see a Bigfoot again, I don't know what I'm going to do. I really don't. I would like to say I want to stand there and watch it, but I don't know if I will. If I see a Dogman, I'm going to pull a ghost chick angel and poop my pants. and thank you, Brian, for believing in me. Brian wrote, I believe you saw a Bigfoot, Bill. I saw the look in your eyes as I have seen in other eyewitnesses' eyes. Even thinking about it right now, I'm starting to get a little teary-eyed. Because it was close. And I don't know what's going to happen next time I see one. I want to say I'm a brave guy, but in reality, that's the first time I ever got that scared in my life, and I had a hard time dealing with that and trying to understand why I did that. Because I'm not afraid of nothing, and that happened. And now I find out I'm not superhuman. I'm just human, and I don't like that feeling. So, but seeing a Dogman, I'll probably be like you, try to get out of the area as quick as possible. So I didn't.
Yeah, because they're, like I said, their frequency and what they put out, the negativity, the territorial. Now, like I said, Bigfoot can be territorial. Okay, like
Very.
They will warn, stay out of my area, especially if they have little ones around. But the Dogmen, they're very territorial, and it's just something that I don't want to deal with, on that aspect with them.
Right. Do you know where West Winfield, PA is?
Vaguely.
It's between Butler and Kittanning. It's right on the Butler-Armstrong County line.
Okay.
Oh my God, I can't believe I just read what Angel wrote. Hey, nothing wants to eat something that smells like poo. Oh God, I can't believe she wrote that. But I've been doing an ongoing investigation now. The one night, it seems every time I go to do it, my buddy Marv that owns all this acreage, it's called Hunting Camp. Population 9.
Okay.
Because they figured there's 9 different Bigfoots there.
Okay.
One guy that can read the situation and that. He always does invite a bunch of people down. When I go just to do an investigation, I'll let them know I'm going. And then it's a get-together cookout. Or if you go during the holidays, a get-together cookout. So I try not to give them too forewarned thing.
Okay.
Well, that one time, he did the cookout and that, and about 2:30 in the morning, I go up, cross the bridge across from there, and go up the logging trail. I get in there a little ways. I got my backpack with me. I go in, I sit down, I open it up. I'm getting ready to get my recorder out and my night vision. And some stones in that start throwing at me.
Uh-huh.
I went, nope, I'm not sticking around. It's coming from behind me, and I'm sitting down facing toward the road where I came in.
Right.
You know, so I'm like, nah, I ain't staying. I'm out of here. You know, I was going to go home at 8 in the morning. Nope, I'm going home now. So I zipped up my backpack, and I headed to the van, and off I went. Well, the next time there, Debbie Priggy was there, and me and her walked up that area, daylight, got up to where I said, yeah, I sat down on that log right over there, and that's where I went to open up my backpack, and I'm looking around. Well, to the one side is Buffalo Creek, down over the embankment there, off the road, the logging trail. The other side was a stone wall that went up about 40 feet. That was about 10 feet away from me, 12 feet.
Uh-huh.
The stones was coming from behind me. I looked up over me. It's thick tree branches and leaves and stuff. The stones did not come down through the trees. That sucker was real close to me.
Yeah.
And I didn't smell them. I didn't sense them. I'm glad I got the hell out of there. You know, like you said, in your one, when I asked you what would you do, you know if they don't want you there.
Oh yeah, you do. Like we were down at, we were doing another like late night investigation down at Beaver Creek, down by Gretchen's Lock,
Right.
and we were in this one area, and we had, we were sitting, and I knew, I could feel from behind me, and I stood up, and probably about 20, maybe 25 feet away from me, I saw it standing by the one tree, and telepathically I was like, I see you, I see you, and it just slowly just went behind the tree.
Huh.
Like it was like hiding, but later on that night as we were leaving, and you could feel it was like, okay, it is time. We need to leave. We've worn out our welcome. We need to go now. As we're walking out the trail and what have you, it got very ominous. And the one friend that was there, she's like, must go faster. I was like, yes, we must go faster. Because you could feel the menace. You could just feel it.
Right. Yeah, I always try to telepathically, or if I'm by myself, I say it out loud, but if I'm with people, telepathically, I tell them, hey, I'm here. I don't want to harm you or get harmed. I'm just here to be here with you guys, enjoying the nature and see what's happening. And basically, and
yeah.
The one time I didn't do that, the one area I go down, Jamie King knows the exact area, and I didn't do it. I had a lot on my mind. I'm just thinking and hiking, walking down in there, and I get almost to where I turn to cut into the woods off that trail, and because I got cut into the woods, go down through a ravine and back up into the woods farther on the other side of that ravine. Well, I'm almost to where I turned to go into the woods, and the loudest knock I have ever heard, and it was close. It made me jump. Whoa! I'm sorry, I'm here. It's me. I know I didn't say nothing like that. I've got a lot on my mind. I apologize. I'm just going over here and go sit where I usually sit at. Unless you don't want me, let me know. Didn't hear nothing. Nothing. Not even a bird. So I slowly walked, cut in, went across the ravine, got over to where I sat down. I'm in there for about half hour, 45 minutes, and you still don't hear nothing. And I'm looking around and you don't see anything, you don't hear anything. Now all of a sudden I heard a bird way out there. Okay, no, okay, but that's out there. That's not close.
Right.
So I know I upset this thing. And finally start hearing things. Start hearing a squirrel run around and hearing other birds. Okay, must have moved on. They're done tormenting me.
Right.
And I was nervous sitting there. I ain't gonna lie, I was nervous because I knew I upset it. But they do. I do believe they recognize you. Like you go in the same area all the time.
Yes. Yeah.
And if you don't do the same things, they do get upset with you. I believe that, especially after this experience.
Right.
Do you agree with me?
Oh, I do. Because I have another friend of mine. He's a hunter, and he had some encounters, and I gave him some things to do, and now like when he goes in to hunt in the woods, he makes sure that he says, "Hey, I'm here today. I just want to enjoy the day. Whatever. Like he gives his little speech or whatever, and 9 times out of 10, they'll leave him alone. And oftentimes, like if he does get a deer, he'll leave a little bit, left over for them. You know what I mean? As a thank you.
Right.
So, but yeah, as long as you acknowledge them, I think they're appreciative of that. They do recognize, so they know who you are. And once again, they whether they're animals, they have some form of an intelligence, high intelligence, I would say. So.
I gotta agree with you. The way they live, they got to be very smart.
Right.
I always said they got a very high intelligence. I said they're equal to us humans, but they're compared.
Right.
And Patty Frey, I better read what she said. Oh, before I do that, Angel says she always introduces herself and express intent whenever she goes to do her investigation. And Patty goes, she wonders if a Bigfoot would chase a Dogman out of their territory. They're both territorial. They'll fight.
But a Bigfoot will chase a Dogman out of the territory.
It will? Okay.
It will. We had an investigation a few years ago down in Washington, PA. Now, I had lived in Washington, PA for like about 5 years. So that area in itself is a very haunted area, one of the most haunted areas I've ever lived in. But going back to the Bigfoot and the Dogman, that there have been supposedly, like when we were investigating, encounters, and you could feel the energy, the imprint that was left. I could feel the imprint that was left. The Bigfoot will chase the Dogman out of the territory. They don't like each other, and the Bigfoot are very protective of the areas that they are in.
I heard that somewhere. I did hear that somewhere. And Brian Seach, I hope you're sitting down for this one.
Oh no.
He goes, "You have done an awesome job tonight on the show, Aurora."
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I told you better be sitting down.
I wasn't sure what he was going to say.
With Brian, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. And Patty goes, "Good that Bigfoot will chase a Dogman away." Yeah.
Oh, they definitely will. Like I said, they are very protective of the areas that they are in. Even if there's like, say, like you have like people like in a cabin area that they know or whatever, they're very protective. They're just very protective of their area.
I'm thankful for that. especially the area I investigate. And a lot of times I'm by myself. So that gets kind of scary.
Yes, yeah.
It does get scary doing that. So, but the thing is, you gave me a lot more things to think about. Thank you very much, as if I didn't have enough. And Brian was right about you.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. And then sometime later, maybe we'll talk about the Wendigo or the lichen, depending on what you want to do.
Yeah.
I really appreciate, you taking the time to allow me to talk about the Dogman.
I'm more appreciative that you're able to do it. Definitely. We'll set something up about the Wendigo and lichen. Yeah, because that's a whole different show.
Yeah,
there's a lot to that too. I know.
It definitely, yeah. And both of Brian and Terry, they were both there. The Seaches were both there in the encounters that we had. So let's just put it that way.
I can believe it. But we're going to be going off the air here pretty soon.
So thank you very, very much. I'm very grateful.
All right. Some people mentioned on probably from the YouTube or the agents page, they go, Bigfoot's herbivore, Dogman carnivore. I'm sorry. Bigfoot's both.
He's both.
Yes, yeah, that's a guarantee. He's both.
Yes.
Dogman, I don't know. And another Facebook user wrote, my dad and uncle years ago told me a story of them seeing a werewolf-looking creature. They both was in law enforcement, so not one to make an imaginary story.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Believe them.
Yeah.
Well, let me see if I can go to my agent's page and see if that's where they did it, said it, or off the other. No. It must have been off my YouTube channel.
Okay.
But yeah, so I came up on YouTube thing here. It didn't. So I don't know who said that. But anyhow, when I sign off the air, stick around.
Okay. All right.
Folks, we're going to cut it off here because there's some things that I got to process for sure. And we're going to I'm going to talk to her about when we can get her back on and talk about the Wendigo and the like and that. But next week, I'm going to have Jeff Lilly on. He had an encounter, he wrote a book. We're going to discuss that. Following week, we're going to have Jay Fouch on. He made some interesting discoveries that we're going to discuss. Him and Corky both were together when they made the discovery. So that'll be on December 23rd, right before Christmas. Really give us a Christmas present that way. But anyhow, I want to thank you all for listening and chiming in. It was a pleasure having Aurora here. I learned a lot from her so far. I know I'm going to learn tons more. And so you all have a great night, and we'll talk to you later.